Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, December 3rd, 2020. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. St. Vincent and the Grenadines joined the rest of the global community to mark International Day of Persons with Disability today. The undesignated day had as its theme this year, Building Back Better Towards a Disability, Inclusive and Accessible and Sustainable Post-COVID-19 World. The president of the Voice of the Disabled, Cheryl Adams, speaking about the observation, is asking that able-bodied persons treat people with disabilities with more respect. She said her organization had plans to showcase the work of its members, but noted that this had some setbacks.
Those out there who still thinking that persons with disability cannot do anything, and there's this slogan that says disability is not inability. So we wanted to put off a showcase, so let the society see that we are cooking, we are making craft, we are brailing, we are using the computers. We just wanted to do something, with a difference for this year.
Adams, who is visually impaired, said that while persons with disabilities continue to face challenges, she would like to see greater inclusion and acceptance of the disabled from the wider public, noting that disability does not equate to inability.
Persons with disability are still facing a lot of challenges in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I'm not saying persons with disability are not challenged throughout the world, but I can only talk about us here in St. Vincent. So we are still challenged with acceptance by society. Society still thinks that we ain't belong. Challenged with family members who still see their persons with disability as liability and, not able to do anything at all. We still have challenge where education is concerned, training, and, when you look at persons here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I know that the majority of us, if we are given the opportunity, we can perform, and we can perform even better than some of the able-bodied persons out there.
People with disabilities face many barriers and challenges in society, including transportation and accessibility. However, in an interview with SVG-TV News today, coordinator of the Helping Hand Center, Anis John Daisy, said there has been progress with persons showing more respect for people with disabilities.
Wheelchair accessibility, because sometimes, a mom will want to take that child up to, for instance, like to the clinics, and if they don't have transportation and if they don't have wheelchairs, and sometimes they call the doctors and nurses to come home, and the type of money that they just have to pay, finances for sure. That is one of their biggest issue, finances. Transportation, just being mobile in a whole, right? And you see the respect for these children. Well, I think some progress has been made now, because first time when the parents go out on the street with the child and the school children out on the street, it's like crazy.
John Daisy said the mission of the Helping Hand Center is to help children to develop to their full potential so that they can be independent. Underscoring that disability doesn't mean inability, she said there are a lot of intelligent children who have a disability.
Okay, what this means to us here at the Helping Hand Center is that the children who are here at the Helping Hand Center, they have different types of disabilities, multiple challenges in most of them. So this day mean that even though, never mind they are challenged, right, disability is not inability. They came here with many different types of severe challenges, and the activities that are planned for them. Because normally when they come to the center, we will do an IEP. We do a needs assessment, we do an IEP, which is an individual educational plan, and based on their needs, we set a goal.
John Daisy highlighted some of the skills and areas in which they work with the children at the Helping Hands Center.
Use one hand, and they has the ability to use the other one. So we will do activities to get that child to develop the skills in the hand that is not really active, right? So we have a range of a variety of activities that we do with them here, and to help them, because feeding was always an issue, and we train them to feed themselves. At first, you'll find them holding the spoon a little awkward and stuff, and then little later on down the road, they eventually start grabbing the spoon, dipping the spoon in the food, and up to the mouth. And when that happens, it's a big, it's like heaven come down.
John Daisy, who is the mother of a child with a disability, said that her experiences taking care of her son who has a disability has motivated her to help other parents who have children with disability. Today, she shared with SVG-TV News her experiences as a mother of a 37-year-old man who has been disabled since a baby.
Because God, He's the one that really gave me the strength to be here. Okay. The strength to go on, the strength to actually hang in there, having my child for up to this time. He's 37 years old. Many times people saying, oh, why you ain't just put him in a home so that you can have your life? His life is mine. I love him, and I was not going to do that. I was given opportunity to leave St. Vincent for a better life. I said, no, I have a better life here with my son.
The coordinator of the Helping Hands Center used the opportunity to encourage parents who have children with a disability not to be discouraged nor disheartened, but to accept them and give them the love and affection they will show to any other child.
Know that it's not the end of the world, it's your child. God have a reason why He gave these children to us, and we shouldn't be complaining. All we have to do is to do what we can to help them, to assist them. Those who can really go out and get jobs, they are there, getting the jobs, doing the work. Right now we have a student that we used to work with when she was very small, crawling on her knees. She's a staff member at Helping Hands. Speech is used, but she hears well and she can walk well.
Preparations are being made for the launch of the National Crisis Hotline next Monday, December 7th, 2020. The hotline will be in addition to the Child Abuse Hotline, which will also be launched on the same day. In her presentation on the second day of original gender-based violence training workshop, coordinator of the Gender Affairs Division, Lafleur Kwame, said the goal of the National Crisis Hotline is to provide telephone interventions, information, and referral services regarding gender-based violence.
Until we are able to build the capacity and have the resources and so forth to provide counseling and otherwise, for the moment it's going to be for information and referral. And its objectives would be to operate and manage the 24 hours, and it's 24 round the clock. Of the National GBV Crisis Hotline in a transparent manner to provide a client-centered, respectful, empathetic, and emotionally supportive intervention, to provide accurate and up-to-date GBV information, and to facilitate the continuity of care and support by providing accurate referrals. And this would be complemented by our GBV referral pathways that was developed with support from UNFPA.
Kwame used the opportunity to explain the process map or the referral pathways and how the National Crisis Hotline will flow, which will be done through the toll-free number 4210.
So if someone is experiencing violence, be it domestic violence, sexual violence, human trafficking, elder abuse, child abuse can be in it. However, there would be a specialized hotline for child abuse. But if it do come to 4210, it would go through the 4210 crisis hotline, and by way of the referral pathway, the calls can be directed to social protection if there is need for cash intervention, cash transfers, the police for any security measures, the crisis center for safety and security, basically like in terms of residential care, the health centers for medical support, the family court for protection orders, the psychology department for psychosocial intervention, and child protection for child safety. This list is not exhaustive.
Yesterday, December 2nd, 2020, the SVG Coast Guard observed its 40th year of operation. And to mark the anniversary, a week of activities was organized, which started on Sunday, November 29th, 2020. Today, a presentation of supplies was made to a senior citizen's home. And tomorrow, the activities will wrap up with a social event. The Coast Guard service began with 8 officers and now has a complement of 110, of which 18 are women. Deputy Commander, Lieutenant Commander Deon Henry, explained that there are several departments and stations on the mainland and in the Grenadines, and their days are carefully mapped out.
We have other 84 personnel, so once you finish at 1600 hours or 4 o'clock, then you depart until the next day. The team that is on base, they will continue the duty that is overnight duty or any other maintenance work that has to be done on base next day. So we have 2 teams basically that works every 48 hours. There are planned patrols and also there are emergencies. So if there's any emergency that comes up, we have what they call a QRC, that a quick response crew that is always on the ready. So basically we take about 5 minutes during the day for responding to anything. The Captain Malzak, as it stands, there's always a crew on board. If the boat has to slip, make ready, you're ready to go.
That was the engineering officer, William Tibbles. And Lieutenant Henry said vast improvements have been made to the Coast Guard fleet, and he pointed to the acquisition of the Hugh Mulzac and now the Medevac vessel among them.
We have over 10,600 square miles of sea. So Mulzac are training dynamics of the Coast Guard operation in that we can go to sea, as Lieutenant Tibbles mentioned, spend 14 days. We can overnight, which we could not have done before the Captain Hummelzak. We can reach into our fishing area, our fisheries grounds, and patrol where the fishermen are fishing. Normally, before Mulzak came into the fleet, we patrol like for 6 hours maximum with the small boats, because those small boats have no amenities to accommodate crew overnight. So the Mulzak are training dynamics of the Coast Guard in that people who are stationed on Captain Mulzak can practice their seamanship skill. They can be better navigators, better engineers, better Coast Guard men altogether.
Activities held to observe the 30th anniversary included a tour of the Captain Hugh Mulzac at its base at Calico, a community outreach project, and sports day. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Commander Henry is urging fisher folk to be more cooperative with the Coast Guard as they are there to help if a need arises at sea. He made specific reference to the recent reported attack on 2 fishermen who said they were robbed by armed Spanish-speaking men, noting that the fishermen did not provide any solid information to the Coast Guard.
This media has it as piracy, but actually it's an armed robbery. It happened within our territorial waters. Adding to this, when the fishermen visit the Coast Guard base to give their report, they missed some important information that should have shared with the Coast Guard. However, they went to the newspaper and gave newspaper information that we should receive, which can be turned into intelligence to respond to the event. So we're asking the fishermen, the maritime community, if you see something that's not right, hear something, say something, so we can plan our patrol intelligently to make sure civilians on the ground needs a safer place for all. The same day the robbery took place, the Captain Malzak was at sea doing border security patrol. So presently, we are working the RSS, as mentioned before, the security system, to gather more intelligence and conduct surveillance within the area where the event occurred.
Lieutenant Commander Henry said that fisher folk and persons in the maritime sector need to follow simple guidelines and invest in equipment that will help them when they are in distress at sea.
One person going to sea, before you leave, file a float plan. Tell someone where you're going, how long you're going to be there for, when you're coming back. Walk with a life jacket for everybody on board. Take along sufficient food. Walk with flares. Walk some of the signal if you're in distress. And most of all, invest in a VHF radio, a VHF DSC radio, which stands for Digital Selective Calling. With this radio, a press of a button, you can reach the Coast Guard and reach others, fishermen, other boaters when you're in distress. It helps us to find you much easier once you send that signal, the Coast Guard receive it, so we can find you without any delay.
And Venezuela's ambassador to SVG, Francisco Perez, said he has received a police report on the recent reported attack on 2 fishermen at sea. The men claim their attackers were Venezuelan pirates. Ambassador Perez said it is an unfortunate incident, but that the report was not clear, nor was it confirmed that the attackers were Venezuelans. He told SVG-TV News that the fishermen came to the conclusion that the apparent pirates were Venezuelans because they spoke Spanish.
Before I asked how they know that they were Venezuelan, they say, well, because they speak Spanish. Spanish is the second language around the world, so could be Venezuelan, but could be from another country, no? I'm not saying that it's not Venezuelan, but we have a different kind of person around the world, and here in the Caribbean can come some of them looking for something that not very in the rule.
Ambassador Perez said that even as investigations continue into the incident, he has gone ahead and informed the authorities in Venezuela about the matter. He said in no way does he condone such attacks and that both governments have taken steps to address the matter.
What I can say is that we are going to do, both government, we are going to do what we need to do to protect our border. The border of Venezuela and the border of San Vincent, and we will work together to avoid and to contain that kind of activity, illegal activity. In fact, so Vincentian and fishermen can be sure that if they were Venezuelan, we passing the information to our country, and if they were Venezuelan, they will be catched.
The Rural Transformation Unit in the Ministry of Agriculture is proceeding with the judging of the National School Gardens competition despite challenges presented by the weather. Senior Technical Officer in the Ministry, Cheryl Thompson, told SVG-TV News today that the weather caused damage to crops at some schools and even totally flooded out one school's efforts. The unfavorable weather led to delays in planting in other schools. Hence, while judging of livestock will wrap up this week, a judging of the crops will be extended until February next year.
So, because of the weather, a number of the schools didn't get around to prepare the plots and plant their crops. In some other cases, where they had planted, they had damage. One school was totally flooded out. So we have extended the judging of the crops so that those who wish to replant can replant perhaps when school reopens in January or later this month. But for those who entered in livestock, whatever category, whether livestock and crop or livestock only, we begin to judge the livestock component.
40 schools, both at the primary and secondary levels, entered this year's competition. Thompson said schools are usually provided with technical assistance, including, in some cases, tilling of the soil.
Last 2 years, we have been providing technical advice. And so we had, through the extension and advisory services, they have visited the schools and they provided guidance on a number of aspects related to vegetable production, related to good agricultural practices. But this year we have added, besides that, we have also provided the assistance with the tilling of the soil using our plows. The schools are required to have their lands cleared completely, making it easier for tilling, and then they would indicate to the unit and we would send in the till. We had some setback with that because again of the year and the demand, because usually we don't do schools, and to have the schools now entering. So we had some setbacks, and we would continue to do the plowing.
The Rural Transformation Unit is encouraging sustainability among the schools in the various agriculture activities, even as predial larceny is a problem.
Culture is being taught. They have trained teachers in agriculture science, and so they are able to provide the guidance, but that doesn't exclude them from getting assistance from the ministry. Well, what we have seen the same schools entering for 3 years. So there's a category where we judge them for sustainability and for diversity of the crop that is deliberate to ensure that the garden goes beyond the competition. So the crops they plant has to be diverse enough that after we finish judging, they should have crops extended into the next term. The schools too are a little concerned, so some of them try to do crops that would last one term.
The competition is judged in 3 different categories: crops only, livestock rearing only, and livestock and crops. And as SVG prepares to mark World Soil Day on Saturday, December 5th, a Deputy Chief Agriculture Officer, Renato Gums, has been pointing to some of the challenges faced locally. Gums said this country's soil problems include soil loss and soil pollution. Gums pointed out that SVG is blessed with some of the best soils in the world, but it may not remain that way if a deliberate soil conservation effort is not made. Every year, the Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO, celebrates this day to raise awareness regarding the importance of soil to life. The theme for this year is Keep Soil Alive, Protect Soil Biodiversity. The UN organization explained that the theme was selected to raise awareness on the importance of maintaining healthy ecosystems and human well-being by addressing the growing challenges in soil management, fighting soil biodiversity, loss increasing soil awareness and encouraging government organizations, communities, and individuals around the world to commit to proactively improving soil health.